Good morning and welcome to Little Explorers. Today we're going to explore elephants. And the first book that I have to show you is a Seymour Simon book all about elephants. Learn all about their habitats, behavior, size, and more. This is what we call a nonfiction book. This book isn't a story, it's facts about elephants. Does everybody know where elephants live? Well, yes, they do live in the zoo. That's where we can see elephants. But most elephants live in Africa and in Asia. And here is a picture of an African elephant at a water hole in the country of Botswana, which is in Africa. Elephants are the largest and the heaviest living land animals in the world, and they're also one of the most intelligent. Elephants are a huge part of our popular culture, and they often show up in books, television, and art. They're associated with wisdom and patience and are famed for their size. One of the most famous elephants was an African elephant who was kept in an English zoo and then an American zoo in the 19th century. It's a long time ago. His name was Jumbo, which is now used to mean huge. At one time, there were dozens of different elephant-like species that lived over most of the world. They lived in deserts, in temperate grasslands, in tropical rainforests, and on snow-covered lands. Nowadays, there are far fewer kinds of elephants left in the wild, and all of them are endangered and threatened. Here in North America, we had mammoths, woolly mammoths, which look kind of like elephants. Until 2010, there were only 2 living species of elephants that were scientifically recognized. But genetic testing has shown that there are at least 3 different living species of elephants: the African bush elephant, the African forest elephant, and the Asian elephant. The African bush elephant lives in Central and Southern Africa, and the forest elephant lives in the Congo Basin in West Africa, and the Asian elephant lives in South and Southeast Asia. African elephants are the largest. They can reach to a height of 13 feet and can weigh up to 15,000 pounds. That's really tall. They're heavier. That's heavier than the biggest pickup truck. And they have large ears that are fan-shaped, but the forest elephants are much rounder. Most African elephants, both in male and female, have tusks. The bush elephant's tusks are large and curved, while the forest elephants are straighter and point downward. African elephants have 2 finger-like lips at the end of their trunks that they can use to manipulate small objects. The bush elephants are less hairy than the forest elephants, and their foreheads are more rounded. And this one, of course, is a forest elephant. These are the bush elephants. And then this is a picture of an Asian elephant. Asian elephants are a lot smaller in size than their African cousins. They have smaller ears and tusks and weigh between 6,000 and 12,000 pounds and stand 6 to 10 feet high at the shoulder. Still, they're the largest living land animals in Asia. They also have 2 prominent bumps on their foreheads. See? And their ears are straight at the bottom. Asian elephants also have dome-shaped backs, and their skin is not as wrinkled as African elephants. Most elephants are active during the dawn and evening hours, although this varies by climate. Modern days elephants are the only living members of a large group of mammals called Proboscidea, which are large tusked mammals with a flexible trunk. Proboscis is another word for nose. And see, that's really their trunk is their nose. Ancient elephants used to number over 40 different species. The 2 best known are mammoths and mastodons, which became extinct at the end of the last ice age about 10,000 years ago. Here's a drawing of a mastodon, and here's a drawing of a woolly mammoth. The African elephant is a bit larger than either the mastodons or mammoths. For comparison, the modern-day African elephant stands about 10 to 12 feet, and mastodons were about 8 to 10 feet, and mammoths were about 9 to 11 feet. So that gives you kind of an idea. The woolly mammoths had gigantic curling tusks and winter coats of thick hair that reached to the ground. Their tusks were very long, most around 9 feet, but some as long as 15 feet. Their tusks were used for fighting and to dig up plants in the dirt and under the snow. Their ears were smaller and closer to their heads to keep them warm in the cold climate. Woolly mammoths are well studied because of the discoveries of their frozen bodies in Siberia and Alaska. And they're also pictured in prehistoric paintings on cave walls. One recent finding was of a body of a young woolly mammoth found entombed in Siberian ice near the shores of the Arctic Ocean. Much of his body was all intact, and it showed marks left from human tools that were used to cut it for food. And here we see another picture of an elephant. An elephant's covered by a thick hide that's leathery and wrinkled. And like most mammals, an elephant also has hair. It's short and stiff and more easily felt than seen. And their hide is about an inch thick. But the elephants are still sensitive to high temperatures when they're out in the sun. So they do like to get into the water. And you can see the elephants bathing there. They don't have very many sweat glands. That's because if they did sweat more, they would need to drink too much water to replace all the water that they lost. Good to know. And in hot weather, the elephants will move into the shade of trees, or they'll go to a nearby river or body of water. An adult elephant needs to drink many gallons of water every day, and bathing in water also keeps a bearable body temperature even in hot summers. And it's fun. And here we can see the elephant's feet. They have large feet and thick legs that look like tree trunks. You might think that elephants shake the ground and make a sound like rolling thunder when they walk, but a walking elephant barely makes a sound. An elephant's foot has a tough and fatty pad of connective tissue underneath, and this acts like a spongy shock absorber and spreads out each time an elephant puts its foot down. Most elephants have 5 toes, but usually 4 toenails on each round foot, and they walk on the tips of their toes, somewhat like ballet dancers in pointed shoes. In fact, a huge elephant makes less of a footprint in soft ground than a much lighter person does walking in pointy-heeled shoes. And of course, here's a picture of 2 elephants with their trunks intertwined. Elephants are most easily recognized by most people because of their unmistakable trunks. Scientists call it the proboscis, meaning nose, but the long flexible trunk is really the elephant's nose and upper lip. Imagine how you would feel if your nose ran down your face like an arm and you could use it to sniff out food, grab it, and then like smell, pop it into your mouth. Imagine if you could lift a friend up with your nose, or use your nose to splash water over your body and all over your family. An elephant can do all that and more with its trunk. An elephant's trunk is muscular, thick, and well protected on the outside and sensitive and delicate on the inside. It has no bones at all, and it's only made of muscle. It's flexible, can move up and down and side to side, and can even extend in length. The tip of the elephant trunk has 1 or 2 lobes, one on the top. They use them like fingers to pick up small objects. The Asian elephants have 1 on the top, while African elephants have 1 on the top and 1 on the bottom. So that's pretty cool. The elephant doesn't actually drink through its trunk, but it uses its trunk to help it drink. It sucks up water using the trunk like a straw and then squirts it into his mouth. And the trunk is also used to smell and identify odors from nearby or far away. And it can be used like a hand, tenderly, to express affection. It can also be used in anger to fight with other elephants. It's pretty cool. And here's a picture of an African elephant and its calf. An elephant's tusks are actually its incisor teeth, like the pointy teeth on either side of your mouth. In a way, elephants use their tusks like teeth to dig in the ground for water and food, but they also use them to lift things and for defense. Unfortunately, elephants are often hunted and killed by poachers just for their tusks, which are prized as art objects. Poaching is the illegal hunting of wild animals. And in the wild, elephants eat almost any kind of plants, including grass, leaves, twigs, shrubs, fruits, bamboo stalks, and bananas. Their main food is grass, along with leaves from trees and bushes. This diet's not a problem in the rainy season when grass and leaves are plentiful, but during a drought it becomes harder to find food. That's when elephants have to find and eat any plant food they can, knocking down trees to eat high foliage and using their tusks to uproot bushes and small trees. And here you can see where they're eating some grass. Elephants eat a lot. An African elephant eats as much as 660 pounds in a day. The smaller Asian elephant eats less, about 330 pounds a day. Contrast that to a human adult who eats about 4 pounds of food a day. So in nature, elephants spend most of their time either looking for food or eating it. They also have to drink huge amounts of water. An African elephant drinks as much as 50 to 60 gallons of water in a single day. That's about as much as a bathtub full of water. So they can't live very far away from water. So even they may live in different places, from thick jungles to open grasslands, they always have to be near a river, lake, or just a watering hole. And here's another picture of a whole bunch of elephants. And there's a lot more in this book that you could check out that tells you all sorts about different things, about some elephants are domesticated. Some elephants are in circuses. Here is an elephant and a monk in Thailand, which is in Asia. And another picture of a mom and the baby calf. And this book is published by HarperCollins, and we thank them for giving us permission to use their books. Now, I have a story here, which, after all that about true things about elephants, this is kind of a little silly. It's called How to Catch an Elephant. And this book is published by Doring DK Publishing. So how do you think you catch an elephant? Let's see. How to Catch an Elephant by Amy Schwartz. And it says, in memory of my father, Henry Schwartz, who told me this story. 3 cakes, 2 raisins, 1 telescope, and a pair of tweezers. That's what you need to catch an elephant. First, pack up all your equipment. Then ask your Uncle Jack to bring you to the place where elephants go. On the way, he'll tell you 3 things. Remember, elephants are crazy about raisins, he'll say. And elephants hate cake. And in a pinch, don't forget your telescope. Say thank you to your uncle and wave goodbye. Now you are alone. Carefully find a raisin in your pocket. Place it on the first cake. Now climb a tree and wait for an elephant. Stomp, 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 sniff, sniff, sniff. It's the elephant. Stomp, 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 stomp. He smelled the raisin. Elephants are crazy about raisins. Pops the raisin into his mouth. What? No more raisins? Only cake? Elephants hate cake. The elephant's great big ears flap back and forth. His long trunk switches from side to side. Stomp, 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 stomp. That cake is flatter than a pancake in Topeka. Make sure the elephant is gone. Then quickly unpack the second cake. Fish the second raisin out of your pocket and put it on top. And then scramble back up your tree and wait. Sniff, sniff, sniff. He smelled the raisin. Elephants are crazy about raisins. He's eating it. What? No more raisins? Only cake? Elephants hate cake. The elephant's great big ears flap back and forth. His long trunk switches from side to side. He lifts his right foot, then his left foot and his right. His whole body is twitching and swaying, and he roars. Be careful up that tree. Pray you don't have any cake crumbs on your fingers. You're alone in the jungle with a very angry elephant. Stomp, 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 stomp. That cake is flatter than a tortilla in Oaxaca. Open your eyes. He's gone. Fast. Jump down. Take the last cake out of its box. Shimmy back up to your branch. We got a cake, but did we get a raisin? Stomp, 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 stomp. Where's the raisin? Hold your breath. Hold on tight. There are no raisins. There's only cake. That elephant was mad enough the first time. He was mad enough the second time. But now, the elephant roars. He jumps on that cake. He jumps on it and stomps on it and stamps on it. He rolls on it and howls and trumpets and roars. You're in a pinch. Uncle Jack, help! wait, remember your telescope. No, the other end. That's right, the wrong end. Now the elephant is the size of his toenail. He's teeny. Grab your tweezers, climb down the tree, pick up that elephant, and button him in your pocket. And that's how you catch an elephant. The end. That was kind of silly, but funny, wasn't it? And my last story today is about Elmer the elephant. And what do you see about this elephant? What color are elephants? Elephants are usually gray. This elephant is not gray. This story is by David McKee, Elmer the elephant. There was once a herd of elephants. Elephants young, elephants old, elephants tall, and elephants short, fat and thin. They were all different, but they were all happy, and almost all were the same color. All except Elmer. Elmer was not elephant color. He was patchwork. Elmer was yellow and orange and red and pink and purple and blue and green and black and white. It was Elmer who kept the other elephants happy. Their games and jokes were always his idea. If an elephant was laughing, the cause was usually Elmer. But Elmer himself wasn't happy. Who ever heard of a patchwork elephant, he thought. No wonder they laugh at me. One morning, just as the others were waking up, Elmer slipped away. As he walked through the jungle, Elmer met the other animals. Good morning, Elmer, they said. After a long walk, Elmer found what he was looking for, a large bush covered with elephant-colored berries. Elmer caught hold of the bush and he shook it until all the berries fell down to the ground. And then Elmer lay down and rolled over the berries this way and that. He picked up bunches of berries and rubbed himself all over until he was covered with berry juice. When he had finished, there wasn't a sign of any yellow or orange or red or pink or purple or blue or green or black or white. Elmer looked just like any other elephant. On his way back through the jungle, Elmer passed the other animals. Good morning, elephant, they said. When Elmer rejoined the herd, none of the other elephants noticed him. As he stood there, Elmer felt that something was wrong. But what? He looked around the same old jungle, same old blue sky, same old rain clouds, same old elephants. The other elephants were standing absolutely still, silent and serious. Elmer had never seen them so serious before. It made him want to laugh. Finally, he could bear it no longer. He lifted his trunk, and at the top of his voice he shouted, "Boo!" The other elephants jumped in surprise. Elmer was helpless with laughter. Then the others began to laugh. Too bad Elmer isn't here to share the fun, they said, laughing harder and harder. And then the rain cloud burst. When the rain fell off Elmer, his patchwork started to show again. Oh, Elmer, gasped an old elephant as Elmer washed back to normal. You've played some good jokes, but this has got to be the biggest laugh of all. What would we do without you? We must celebrate this every year, said another, the day of Elmer's best joke. All of us elephants will decorate ourselves in his honor, said a third, and Elmer will decorate himself elephant-colored. And one day each year, the elephants color themselves yellow or orange or red or pink or purple or blue or green or black or white and have a parade. If you happen to see an elephant in the Elmer's Day Parade who is ordinary elephant color, you'll know it must be Elmer. And here we have Elmer in his elephant color. And we have an elephant that's purple and green. And a polka dotted elephant. And a striped elephant. All sorts of colors on that elephant. Whoops. And we have a blue elephant, and an elephant with red hearts all over him. So now, would you like to make your own Elmer the Elephant? We have a craft for you. So what you'll need for this craft is a gallon jug. You can actually also use a half-gallon jug. If it's a milk jug, you want to make sure that you wash it out. This is a water jug. You'll need some tissue paper cut into squares or rectangles, since I wasn't very straight, and some glue, and an index card or another piece of white paper. So what we're going to do is, the first thing I did with this is I kind of decided where I was going to cut my elephant. We're going to use the handle for the elephant's nose. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4 legs and a tail. So my suggestion would be that you draw what you want and then you ask an adult to cut it out for you. And if you start at the handle, it's usually easier to start, but not today. Once you get that cut, you can cut out the rest of the elephant. And the first one that I made his legs a little bit shorter, but you can do whatever you want. But just remember, if you want him to stand up, good, he needs 4 legs, and he should have a tail. Elephants don't have very long tails. Once you get them cut out, you may want to make sure that your legs are about the same size so that he'll stand up. And we're going to take some glue. You can use any kind of glue. Elmer's glue is probably the best. We just happen to have this tacky glue. I'm going to pour some in here. This glue is very thick, and I think Elmer's be a little bit thinner and is probably fine. I used a paintbrush to make it a little bit easier, and you want to save your 2 index cards, which I did spill water on one of them, but we can fix that. But I kind of used the other part so that I wouldn't get glue on my table. So you want to put some glue on the tissue paper. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your tissue paper and cover your elephant all over. And I wouldn't worry about the wrinkles that the tissue paper will do, because we all know that elephants have wrinkled skin. So what you want to do is you want to cover the whole thing. Because I had this bright red top on the one that I did, and I had just pastel colors, I took my top off and I just covered it with pastels, but you could keep that one there. And so when I finished, basically what I have, and this one's a little smaller, is an elephant. So as you can see, what I did was use the piece of white cardstock, or you can use it if you have an index card at home. You can use that and cover it up, and then we taped it. We pasted it, you can see there, to the end. And of course you can, if you want to, cover that back up with some more tissue. And I added some googly eyes. And so what are you going to do with this? You can make it into a night light, because the light would shine through. Or it makes a great puppet, because you've got a little place to put your hand and your finger in the trunk. And so that's how you could make your very own elephant. And if you don't have googly eyes, you can make your eyes with just a Sharpie or whatever you wanted to do. So that's how you make Elmer. And we were going to make some elephant toothpaste today, but elephant toothpaste requires some things that are a little bit hard to get right now. So we're going to post a video to show you how you could make elephant toothpaste if you're interested. And I hope y'all have a good day, and we'll see you soon.